I'm Miss Denise. I want to tell you a couple things before we begin. One of them is draw light till you get it right. That is so it's easy to erase. The second thing is draw only on one side of your paper, even if it's in a sketchbook, because the pencil won't smudge your drawings then. This is what happens if you make a drawing and it smudges the pencil by rubbing, okay? So just wanted you to know that. Now, to find out why the ellipse is so helpful. So, ellipses help us draw circles. So for instance, right now when you're looking at this mug, you're seeing a perfect circle. As I turn this mug like this, up towards me, are you noticing that the circle is changing? Yeah. It can be a big, fat ellipse. It can be a little skinny ellipse. That is an ellipse. E-L-L-I-P-S-E. That is why learning to draw ellipses is so helpful, because it helps us draw circles in perspective. So there's some rules to drawing ellipses. And there's 4 rules. Rule number 1. And that is that the ends of the ellipses are rounded. See, like that. They are not like this, pointed. They are not pointed. Wrong, right? They are rounded. Rule number 2 is that the front of the ellipse shape, the curve, is the same curve as the back of the ellipse. So when you put your ellipse together, the curves are the same. Right? Also, the ends of the ellipse, like this part and this part, are the same distance. See that? So you would not have an ellipse that's like that, right? Where the distances are different, right? Not like that. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3 is that when you're drawing cylinders, the curve for the front edge at the top is the same as the surface curve for the entire shape all the way down to the bottom ellipse. Now that would be an example like this. That curve would be the same if you're drawing like a bottle, for instance. The curve is the same. In other words, it wouldn't be like that and then like that. That would be wrong. This is the rule. Even if you're drawing smaller curves, because you might have a lid on your bottle, the curve would still be the same. See how that's the same? Rule number 4. The circumference of the ellipses in a cylinder can vary from small to large, but the curve is the same. Well, that's just the same thing we just said. So you can have a cylinder that varies the length of the ellipses, but the curves must be the same. Whoops, scratch that. Okay, now I want you to try that. Try drawing. Oh, wait, before we stop, I want to show you one more way to draw an ellipse. I forgot to show you. There's this way to draw an ellipse. You could start with the ends and connect them. I like to do it like this, where you draw one side and then the other. You just got to remember not to make it pointy. But we're doing 2 C's, one forward C, one backward C, also works. So there you have it. Now I'd like you to practice. Okay, we're going to make a stack of ellipses. Okay, now that you've practiced sort of how to draw an ellipse, let's make a stack of ellipses. Let's say if this is your paper, start them not quite halfway, like maybe no lower than that. And let's make them all the same, like kind of like this. Try doing one and another one underneath it. Try to make them, you see, I'm not making them exactly the same, but I'm just trying to make them the same. So just try to make them the same. I'm going to do another one up here. So they're kind of the same, right? And then on the top, I'm going to do a couple little ellipses. Okay? Now you do that. Okay, now you've got your stack of ellipses, 4 ellipses and 2 little ones on the top. Let's connect our ellipses. Oh, let's just do a straight line. You don't have to get curvy here, like even if they're not exactly perfect. We have a cylinder now. I'll bet if we did that on the ones up here, we have a little cap for a water bottle. This is a perfect water bottle. Look at that. Ah, now you've made a water bottle. When you do this, you've made a water bottle. May I suggest that when you're drawing it, that you draw it light till you get it right so you can erase. I'm drawing heavy so you can see it. Now, when you draw your bottle, your cylinder, your ellipses, and then make it into a water bottle, you can erase some of these ellipses. That's why I want you to draw light, because we're going to make a label on the bottle. So I'm going to erase this line. This is going to be the bottom of the label. And I'm going to erase this whole ellipse in here, because that's going to be all label. You can't see through the label, right? But you can see the label go to the back. Ooh, let's just draw part of that label. There we go. I'll erase this line too. And it'll look like we're seeing through the bottle to the label. And then this is the bottle cap. So I'll just erase this. Do you see how that looks like a bottle sitting on the table? And now I'm going to make the bottle cap have these little shapes, just for fun. And I want to put something on my label. If I want to put something on my label, I have to make that same elliptical shape to do the writing. I want my writing about this big, so check this out. I just made, see, I kept the shape the same, the curve the same. Now I'm going to lay in a word, like what about H2O? H, 2, O. See how it's kind of curvy? That's the whole point of making the writing curvy, because then it matches the perspective. I'm going to just pretend this is really little writing. There we go. And then I can erase the lines I used. And the writing looks okay. Now it's your turn. Take your time and draw your water bottle. Okay, we're going to draw a couple more things with the ellipse before we're done. We're almost finished. But you might wonder, what else can the ellipse do? Well, you can draw a plate with an ellipse. Let's check this out. There's a plate sitting on the table. There's the center of the plate. Let's draw a mug. Okay, here's an ellipse. And you know what helps me draw an ellipse, which I forgot to show you? before. Sometimes I do a line like that. It just helps me line up the ellipse better. So I'm going to draw another ellipse here. Okay. Then I'm going to connect the lines. I like using rulers. I got a mug. Although this looks flat, I have to change that to an elliptical shape more. Much better. See that? Put a little handle on it. Erase all the lines we don't want. We got a mug. See that? Oops, I don't want that line either. Don't forget, if you're going to do your decoration or write something on your mug, you're going to want that same swoop, right? Around, like I might want to do, my favorite person is my dog, like this says. So I would do that. Keep those curves. Keep the curves, keep the curves, right? And I would write on here, just show you, I won't do the whole thing. Whoop. What happens when you can't fit it all on? Well, it's just going around. See, that's just fine. Because the cups, it's the way the cup's sitting. So that was fun. We drew a mug. What about a tumbler? Well, we'll do an elliptical shape up here. Again, the ruler would help. See, I made my ellipse. I made it a little better. And then I'll do a little one down here. And then I'll connect the lines. And I've got a tumbler. So there's lots of things you can do now that you know how to draw an ellipse. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed learning how to turn a circle into the ellipse and why it's helpful to learn that. Now you can practice drawing what's on your table at home. When you see a mug and a plate or a bowl, for instance, get out your sketchbook and draw it just for fun. Also, here's a secret. The secret keeps itself. The reason some people are better at drawing is because they do it a lot. I call that pencil mileage. See you next week.